Hi everyone, Megan Stoner joining you virtually on behalf of Yates Fieldhouse for our first edition of Nutrition Intermission. I'm really excited to be joining you all today to talk about all things produce. We're going to kick off today's segment with talking about why we should even wash our produce. We do this to help remove the dirt, pesticides, bacteria, and even wax that remain on our fruits and veggies from wherever we're purchasing them from. Simply running it underwater doesn't happen to remove any of these things, so it's really important to kind of give it that little extra love to remove any of the bacteria, pesticides, or any of the aforementioned items that we talked about. For most produce with skin, you can use the recipe that I'm about to talk to you about. And it's really important when you finish to allow the produce to actually dry completely before you're returning it to the fridge or wherever you are storing it. This also helps lengthen the shelf life of the produce, and shelf life is just how long the product is actually good for before it goes bad. So washing your produce is a two-step process, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how I'm putting together these washes, and we'll go from there. So the first step is to completely clean your sink if you're using a sink. I'm actually using 2 bowls today, so I'm going to skip that step and then wash your hands. So I washed my hands before we started this segment, so we're good to go there. And then the next thing is we are going to, if I had like a potato or a carrot or something like that, I would actually use a little bit of a scrub brush, so a soft bristled scrub brush, something you can get actually from the dollar store as well, to kind of give it a little bit of a scrub to get maybe some dirt or something like that off of those rougher root vegetables. And then I would start this process. Just make sure if you do use a scrub brush that you label it for produce, because you don't want to be using it to clean anything else, okay? So this first soak that we're going to be doing is going to be for 15 minutes. And this is going to be made with vinegar, water, and salt. So what I'm going to do is I have 2 apples here that I'm going to go ahead and put in this first bowl, and I'll adjust the camera so you can see me a little bit while I'm doing this. So I've put both of the apples in here in this bowl. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add some water. So enough water to cover both of the apples. So I'm going to actually use this big pitcher so we can go a little bit quicker here. So we've got these apples covered. Perfect. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add 1 cup of distilled white vinegar. Something I wanted to let you all know is there actually is a white vinegar called cleaning vinegar. It's actually 6% acidity. So if you can get your hands on that, I would definitely suggest it. But plain white vinegar is what I have at my house today, so that's what I'm going to be using. So then I'm going to add a cup of this to my first soak. So got a cup there. Perfect. And going to add it to this first bowl. Awesome. So what I would do now is I would let this sit for 15 minutes. And then after it has, I need to add the salt. So let's add the 4 tablespoons of salt here. And you can use any type of salt that you have. So I have pink Himalayan, so that's just what I'm going to use right now. And I'm going to add the 4 tablespoons. Perfect. So I'm going to give that actually a little bit of a stir here. Perfect. So it mixes in. Awesome. So what I would do now is I would allow this produce, as you can see, to sit in this bath for 15 minutes. So set a timer, go do whatever you need to do, and come back for the second step. So second step of this, before we hit that, is we would want to rinse these apples in a colander or a strainer and run it under some cool water. So let's pretend that I did that. And we're on to our second step of the process. And that's going to be the second soak. So I have 2 more apples we'll put here for the second part of the soak. and go from there. So I'm going to add, again, more water. So we've got the water to cover, and we're also pretending that these went through the first soak as well. So we've got that there. And then we are going to add the 4 tablespoons of baking soda. So just regular baking soda, whatever you have on hand will work for this process as well. So we're going to add the 4 tablespoons. That's 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. So again, I just give this a little stir and let that soak, but this time it's only for 5 minutes, okay? So that second soak is 5 minutes, first soak is 15. And then once this has finished soaking, I would again head back over to the sink, strain it with a colander, and rinse it clean, okay? From there, we would then, let me adjust this again. We would then let it out, either some paper towel or just regular clean dish towels, and allow that produce to continue to dry before we put it up. So those are washing vegetables kind of with skin. I want to touch base a little bit on our lettuces and leafy greens. So these are often more delicate and difficult to wash. So what I would suggest is starting this with 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 cups of water, and then add the juice of 1 lemon. And you can put this into a glass spray bottle, and then or a plastic spray bottle. Again, when you are doing or creating these, you only want to use these for cleaning of produce. You don't want to use anything that has had any other cleaning product in it. So just start with a new bottle before you do any of that. So you're going to spray that concoction on the greens, and you're going to let it sit for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then you're going to add it to the sink or a bowl with the diluted vinegar water. So the either cup of regular vinegar or half a cup of the cleaning vinegar that I talked about earlier. So we let that soak for 15 minutes, and then again we wash it after that soak, and then you want to pat it and let it completely dry. And then you can store it in your fridge. An insider tip I want to let you guys know about is using mason jars to store your greens. So this actually helps them stay a little bit fresher for longer. So you're not opening up the fridge and having that bag of wilted lettuce. So just an awesome tip to share with you all. And then berries. So berries are very difficult to clean because they are so delicate, and they do take on the flavor of basically anything they come in contact with. So for this, again, suggest to use diluted lemon juice with water. So it's about 2 cups of water to half a cup of fresh lemon juice. You can spray this on the berries and just make sure that they're well coated, and then allow them to soak in fresh water for about 15 minutes. And also, big thing with your berries is you want to make sure that they're completely dry before you're returning them to the fridge, or else they're going to get mushy. The other thing I wanted to connect with you all about is some of the in-season produce that is coming into season for September and how to choose it. So the big fruit right now is apples. So you want to make sure your apples are firm with no soft spots. And another big favorite of mine is cauliflower. So you want to look for kind of bright green leaves enclosing a firm and closely packed white curd. Cranberries are coming in as well, so you want a firm, plump, and brightly colored cranberry. Eggplant, another personal favorite. You want to make sure it's firm when you touch it, and then it has a little bit of weight to it. And then a smooth and uniformly dark purple outer exterior. Honeydew is actually still in season right now, so a creamy yellow round with a pleasant aroma when you smell the base of the melon. And pears as well. You want to make sure that it yields gently to pressure on the stem end. Plums, you want to look for something that is plump, and again, that pressure, it should have a little bit of give back and yield to slight pressure. Pomegranates, you're looking for a thin-skinned and bright reddish purple color. And sweet potatoes, firm, dark, and no soft spots, okay? So thank you all for tuning in to this first edition of Nutrition Intermission. I look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming weeks. Have a great one, and we'll talk soon.